What's happening, my friends? My name is Nathan. Welcome to Motorcycle Training Concepts. It makes sense, but I was still shocked when I learned that motorcycles don't get hit very often. They're always hitting other things, whether that's a guardrail, a tree, a bush, and other vehicles. The other vehicles typically don't hit the bikes. It's the bikes hitting them, and that's usually caused by speed. So in a previous video, we already talked about how to mitigate the risk of crashing in a corner. In this one, we're going to talk about how to read body language of vehicles. So first things first, their wheels. The front tires of the vehicles are going to be the biggest indicator for what their intentions are going to be. If you're stopped at a stoplight and you see someone's tires are pointed off camber and they're not looking straight, that's a good indication that as soon as they get the chance to move, they're going to jump into the next lane. And the cool thing about motorcycles is that you're not limited to one spot in your lane. You've got the whole lane and you only need this much of it in order to move. And you can use this to your advantage. So when you're traveling at speed, it's going to be a little harder to see if their wheels are turning. The change in direction is so slight. This is where, using your lane position, you can be on the far left side or the far right side of your lane, and you can get line of sight to the back of the driver's head. And you can see if they're distracted. You can see if they're fumbling around on the passenger seat for something. You can see if they're on their phone or eating a burger. And these are signs that the driver's distracted and more than likely not going to be looking for you, not accustomed to sharing the road with you. And this is a good tell that you should be on high alert around that vehicle. One of the biggest ones here is brake lights. Not only for the car in front of you, but for the car in front of them. So like I said before, using the lane position to your advantage, you can position on the left or the right and you can see around the car in front of you. And if they're only looking at the car in front of them and you can see 3 cars ahead, whatever the people in front of you are reacting to, you can react to way ahead of time. So watching for brake signals, watching for turn signals, this is the next one. As long as that driver is doing what they're supposed to be doing, they're going to be using their turn signals. It goes without saying that turn signals are the best way to show your intention. Being predictable is the best way to be safe on the road. So if other drivers are using their turn signals, that's a good indicator. That's exactly where they want to go. But don't take it for granted. You see the driver on the road has their turn signal on. Don't just assume that they're going to be turning into the parking lot that you're trying to leave. This is where reading their body language can come in handy too, so you can see how fast they're going, whether they intend to stop based on not just their signal, because their signal is telling you that they want to turn. But if they left their signal on by mistake and you jump out in front of them, that could be a bad day for you. Another little pro tip that I like to do on the road every single time that I ride is whenever I'm next to other vehicles while I'm driving, I like to focus on their mirrors, because if I can see the driver through their own mirrors, then they have the opportunity to see me. As long as I can see them, I can see whether they're looking at me. I can see if they're checking their mirrors or if they intend to turn based off if they're looking for other cars. But if you can see the driver through their mirrors, you can see what their intentions are and you can see where their eyes are looking. You can see whether or not they're going to see you in time. And finally, you got to use your intuition. This is where you get that gut feeling and you think, I don't like the way that driver's operating their vehicle. For me, most of the time when I'm riding, I get other drivers next to me who will be tailgating the car in front of them. And that's a clear sign of impatience. When other drivers are impatient, typically that means they're not gonna be checking their mirrors, they're not looking for motorcycles, they just wanna go faster than everybody else. And if they get slowed down, they get frustrated. If you use all of these skills together, your intuition is going to go through the roof. You're going to almost be able to read their minds. You're going to be able to predict what the car drivers are going to be doing before they decide to do it. And like everything else, this is a skill you can practice. You don't want to be focusing on the other drivers so much if you don't know the fundamentals of your own motorcycle. So again, take it to a parking lot. Get so familiar with your bike that you're not thinking about it. It's no longer a thought process. You've mastered that. And that way you can make room to focus on things like other drivers. So understanding that motorcyclists, more often than not, hit other vehicles and hit other objects. They're not always hit, and they're hardly ever actually hit. Understanding that, now you've got a toolkit you can practice, and that's reading body language. Read the car's body language. You can look at their wheels, look at their taillights, look at their turn signals, look at the driver, look at their mirrors, and then use your intuition to really figure out and predict what they're going to do. And that's going to keep you safe in the long run. All right, go practice, y'all. I hope y'all ride safe and ride smart, and I'll see you in the next video.